We are in the book of Matthew as we go through our journey through the Bible and talk about the book of Matthew. And we're in Matthew chapter 28. We're about to finish the book of Matthew. We talk about things, and last week we talked about the resurrection, and we know that it was timely in that, but it was also just good to go to the resurrection because that is our hope. Without the resurrection, we have no hope. And we want to talk today in particular about the resurrection and what happened after the resurrection. That is as important as it is, and that is where we fit in. We are after the resurrection. And what does the resurrection mean to us? And what is our response to the resurrection? And so as we talk about this, we know that from last week we said the tomb is empty, he is risen. And it was as the earthquake came, the angel rolled the stone away, the soldiers ran, and it was that Mary and Martha and other women came to the tomb, and they went into the tomb, and the tomb's empty. And the angel said, "You go tell the disciples about this." And so it is. And we ended last week with, do you believe in the resurrection? And that's a great question. And you may say, well, I do know that there is a God, and Jesus is the Son of God, and Jesus was crucified, and yes, he rose from the grave. You may say that mentally, but has it made a difference in your life? That's the question. When I say, do you believe in the resurrection, I'm saying, has the resurrection made an impact on your life? Has it made a change in your life? That's what we want to talk about today. After the resurrection, what happened? Well, it was that we talk about his resurrection. First of all, Jesus had told his disciples time and time and time again, I'm going to Jerusalem. There, I'll be taken into custody. I will be mocked. I will be on trial. I will be beaten. I will be crucified. But don't worry. On the third day, I'll rise again. In fact, remember when we said that and talked about this, that the Jewish leaders came to Pilate and said, now he said he's going to rise the third day. Seal the tomb, put guards there at the tomb, make sure this does not happen, make sure that the disciples do not steal the body away. And they did everything earthly possible to keep Jesus in the tomb. He told his disciples they should not have been surprised on the resurrection. But they were. And so when we talk about this, the resurrection tells us three things, I think. Three things about the resurrection. Number one, it's a resurrection of consolation. Several women had come to the tomb early in the morning, or the first day of the week. They saw that the stone had been rolled away. Angels appeared to them, one sitting upon the stone. The two were in there, and they said, go back and tell the disciples. And Peter, we talked about last week why Peter especially needed to be told. And Peter and John run to the tomb. John tells it this way. He said, I outran Peter. He didn't say I outran. He says the disciple whom Jesus loved outran Peter. Got to the tomb first, peered inside. Peter comes, goes inside, and the tomb is empty. Certainly, that made a difference in their life. To know that as they walked and talked with Jesus for 3 years, they saw all the miracles that Jesus did. They saw him feed the 5,000, partook of the bread and the fish of the 5,000. They saw him, a lame man was there, and he made the lame man walk, and the blind man was there, and he caused the blind man to see. He cast out demons. He calmed the storm. And they were there through it all. They knew that Jesus was not just a man. No man could do the things that he did. They knew Why were they surprised at the resurrection? And so they go to the resurrection, and not only they went, but as we talk about, after the women had left and they went and told the disciples, one came back. After he had risen early on the first day of the week, he appeared to Mary Magdalene, from whom he had cast out 7 demons. Now, I overlooked a word there. He appeared first to Mary Magdalene. The women had gone there. The tomb was empty. They didn't see Jesus. Mary Magdalene, who he had cast out 7 demons, came back. She's weeping. She didn't know where Jesus is. The tomb is empty, but she didn't know where he is. She supposed someone had taken Jesus from the tomb. I don't know why she didn't suppose he had risen from the dead. He had said this. The Jewish leaders knew and understood. Jesus wasn't vague about, you bury me and in 3 days I'll rise from the grave. The Jewish leaders knew it. They tried everything possible for this not to happen. But she comes back to the tomb. John tells it this way, but Mary stood without the sepulchre. Now, they have a grave different than what we have. We dig a grave in the ground, but they have a sepulchre, a cave, and there is a place where the body lays, and the stone is set over this entrance there. The stone had been rolled away, and she wept, stooped down, and looked into the sepulchre. She saw 2 angels there, one sitting at the head and one sitting at the feet where the body would have been, but the body's gone. And they said to you, why are you crying? Why are you sad? They would say, don't you know Jesus is not here? He has risen from the grave. Why are you weeping? And she said, because they have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have laid him. Now what's she saying? She's saying someone came and stole the body, and I don't know where it is. The stone was rolled away. Angels appear telling you he's not here, he is risen, and you come to the conclusion someone must have stolen the body. They just didn't get it. Why wouldn't she come to the conclusion, oh, he has risen from the grave just like he said he was going to do. He's the Son of God. He raised Lazarus from the dead just a few days before. Why wouldn't she believe that Jesus had risen from the grave? And then it was, she's there, she's weeping, and she turned and saw Jesus. But she didn't know he was Jesus. She supposed that he was a gardener there. I suppose it's something like this picture, that she's weeping and she hears someone, and she could recognize that someone's there, but she didn't really look upon him. When it says he didn't recognize, I think she really just didn't see who it was, and that supposing it was a gardener. And she said, if you have taken him, tell me where he is. And Jesus said to her, Mary. And she turned and saw who it was. He appeared first to Mary, from whom he had cast out 7 demons. If you read through the scriptures and follow Mary Magdalene, it was that when Jesus cast out the 7 demons from her, she began to follow along with him. So she was one of the women. She was one of the women at the foot of the cross when Jesus would speak to his mother Mary and say, behold your son, John, behold your mother. She was one who helped prepare the body of Jesus before the burial. And now she has gone back. There were other things that she wanted to do. why wouldn't you come to conclusion that he is risen from the grave? So she saw him. Saw that he is risen from the... Don't you know that the consolation to see Jesus? She's torn up. She's weeping. She's crying. Her heartbroken. Someone has taken Jesus away, and I want to see his body. Well, she saw his body walking and talking and alive. Don't you know the joy that she knew? She saw him. He's risen from the grave, just like he said he was. As Jesus gives comfort to Mary, it gives comfort to us to know he's risen from the grave, just as he said he is. We don't have to be heartbroken that he was crucified on the cross, although that was a terrible thing. But it doesn't stop there. Our hearts can be comforted. Jesus rose from the grave. It's a resurrection of consolation. Number two, it's a resurrection of confirmation. As was read earlier, it was that Jesus not only appeared to Mary, but it said he appeared to two. We know they were walking to Emmaus. They had been in Jerusalem. They had been there for the feast. The feast was over now, and they're going back home. And they began walking. It was that as they talk about this, and Luke tells it this way. So two men are walking along, and Jesus joins himself to the two. And he asked the two, he said, what are y'all talking about? And they said, haven't you heard what had happened in Jerusalem? They took Jesus. He was put on trial. He was crucified. And some people are saying he rose from the grave. They didn't believe it either. It's like we have heard some people say he rose from the grave. And Jesus' response is this: oh, you foolish men, slow of heart to believe. Don't you know the prophecies that Christ was to suffer these things? Many times we read from Isaiah 53, the prophecy some 700 years before Jesus prophesied that Jesus would die in this way. When it was that the Ethiopian eunuch was going on his way and Philip joined himself to the chariot, the eunuch had the Bible open to Isaiah 53. And he was reading from there. And he said, who is this man talking about? Who's Isaiah talking about? And Philip opened up his mouth and began to preach unto him Jesus. Acts chapter 8. Oh, don't you know? Haven't you read? Didn't you know? And he began, I like verse 27. I wish I had been there for verse 27. He began at Moses and all the prophets, and he began, I don't know if he went verse by verse. You know, there are over 300 prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament. Either prophecies directly or reference to. You think he went through all 300, or did he just go through enough to know that the Messiah would be crucified? He expounded to them all the scriptures concerning these things. He confirmed what had been prophesied. He went to the scriptures. He said, let's read. Let's just open up the Bible and let's just see what it says. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine going through all these scriptures and now seeing, being confirmed to know that Jesus rose from the grave? On the evening of the first day of the week, Mary went to the tomb early in the morning. Now all day long, people have been talking. The two men on the road to Emmaus said, some people have said he rose from the grave. Don't you know the whole city word has spread throughout Jerusalem. Jesus rose from the grave. The stone has been rolled back. It said of the guards, they went telling people that the disciples came and stole the body. Well, the disciples, no, they didn't steal the body. And so they were all together wondering what had happened. And they were together with the doors locked. They were afraid they might be put on trial and crucified too. Maybe whatever it was. They were afraid of the Jewish leaders. And Jesus came into the room. He said, my peace is with you. Peace be with you. I think that they were wondering, amazed, what next? What's going to happen next? Jesus has been there. He has gone through the crucifixion. He has been raised. And now he comes and he says, listen, disciples, I have been raised from the dead. As my Father sent me, so I send you. It's powerful, isn't it? A resurrection of confirmation that this is your goal. As the Father sent me, I send you. That's what's next. After the resurrection, Jesus is going to ascend back to heaven. He's going to take his place up there. But we need to take our place. As the Father has sent me, I've got a mission. I fulfilled my mission. I send you. And he said these words, go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and Son and Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I've commanded you. And lo, I'm with you always, even to the end of the world. And we have this mission as the Father sent Jesus. Now Jesus sent us. And that's our mission because we believe that Jesus rose from the grave. Because we believe he ascended back to heaven. Because we believe in heaven. We believe in hell. We believe that Jesus is the only way to heaven. And we are the ones, he's told us, we are to confirm that Jesus rose from the grave. He's not in the grave. We serve a risen Savior. He arose. Do you believe it? The disciples believed it enough to say, okay, this is our mission. When we read this, the message of confirmation. Now, he just didn't show himself to the women and to the disciples. Paul talks about this. He was buried. He was raised the third day according to the Scriptures. He fulfilled the prophecy of the Scriptures. He appeared unto Peter. This is some 30 years later after the resurrection that Paul inserts. He appeared to Peter. Remember, he told the women, you go tell the disciples and Peter what you have seen. And now Peter must have been heartbroken. Peter must have been discouraged. You tell Peter and the disciples. And then he appeared to about 500 brethren at once. There's no denying the resurrection. In fact, the resurrection of Jesus Christ is the greatest source of evidence that we can go to know that Jesus is the Son of God. He wasn't just a good man. The resurrection confirms without any doubt Jesus is the Son of God. Some people would say, oh, he was just a good man that did good things and had good lessons to be taught. But any good man with good things and any good lessons to be taught would still be in the grave. Jesus rose from the grave. His resurrection confirms that he is Christ. In fact, whenever we read, he was declared the Son of God with power by the resurrection from the dead. This one event over any other. It wasn't that he made the blind to see, that he was declared to be the Son of God. It wasn't that he was baptized in the Jordan River and the dove comes down and the voice from heaven says, "This is my beloved Son, hear ye him." It wasn't whenever he calmed the storm that he was declared to be the Son of God. It was whenever it was he rose from the grave, and this declares him, confirms that he is the Son of God. No doubt about it. No other way to think. Romans 1 verse 4. It's a message of confirmation. He rose from the grave to confirm he is the way, the truth, the life. No man cometh to the Father but by him. In fact, when it is, Paul is preaching in Acts chapter 17. He tells those in Athens, he's preaching there, because he had fixed a day in which he would judge the world in righteousness by a man whom he has appointed and given this assurance to all by raising him from the dead. To know there will be a judgment day is confirmed by the resurrection. First of all, the resurrection confirms he's the Son of God. No doubt about it. He is the Son of God. It confirms, second of all, there will be a judgment day. There will be a day that we shall be raised from the dead, unless it is that we're here when Jesus comes again. We will die. We will be raised from the dead. We will face a day of judgment. This assurance is given because Jesus rose from the grave. It confirms there is a heaven, there is a hell. There is a separation. Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Or depart from me, I never knew you. By the resurrection of the dead. Not only is it a resurrection of confirmation, it's a resurrection of confrontation. And that was read earlier here. Still later, he appeared to the 11. They were eating together, and he rebuked their stubbornness, their unbelief. I told you I would rise from the grave. The Jewish leaders understood that. Why didn't the disciples understand it to a point that they believed it? And sometimes we read the Bible and we understand the Bible. We believe there's a resurrection. I believe Jesus rose from the grave. I believe he's living in heaven right now. We believe it. Or do we? When he's talking about their unbelief, has the resurrection made a difference upon you? I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I can't believe it. All the miracles that he had seen, he had raised Lazarus from the dead, he raised the widow's son from the dead. It's not the first time that they had experienced someone rising from the grave, but they knew what it would mean for Jesus to rise from the grave, to rise and die no more. He rebukes them. Many times it is, we call him Doubting Thomas, don't we? The disciples go and tell Thomas. Thomas wasn't there when Jesus came and rebuked them for their unbelief. And they go and tell Thomas, we have seen the Lord. And Thomas says, unless I see the nail marks in his hand and put my fingers where the spear pierced his side, unless I do that, then I will believe. Doubting Thomas. The others didn't believe either, did they? And Thomas has that nickname, Doubting Thomas. Jesus came and appeared to Thomas. Behold, the nail prints in my hand. Here's where they pierced my side. Thomas, you believe because you have seen. He said, blessed are those who believe who have not seen. That's us. We've not seen the nail-scarred hands. We didn't see the soldier pierce his side with the spear. We were not there at the cross. We were not there at the trials when the mocking and the spitting upon and the scourging and the bleeding and the beating, and we were not there during that time. We're some 2,000 years removed from that. We cannot see it. We can't see the angel sitting upon the stone that has been rolled away. Now, we can go to the tomb there in Jerusalem, the one that we suppose is it. There's a lot of evidence this was the tomb. And the tomb's still empty. There's no body in the tomb. The stone had been rolled away. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet believe. And I ask you, do you believe? Do you believe in the resurrection? Believe enough to change your life. It's a resurrection of consolation. Jesus had told his disciples earlier from John chapter 14, let not your hearts be troubled. Do you believe in God? Believe also in me. It's a message of comfort. Because Jesus rose from the grave, we will rise from the grave also. It's a message of confirmation that by his resurrection, he is declared to be the Son of God. By his resurrection, we know there will be a judgment day, and he will be the judge. By his resurrection, what about you? Is it a resurrection of confrontation for you? Do you really believe? Do you believe enough for it to change your life? That's the question. That's the confrontation. We haven't seen him, but I believe Jesus rose from the grave. And that's made all the difference in my life. What about yours? If there's any way that we can help you and encourage you in living the Christian life, if you believe that Jesus rose from the grave, knowing that we will rise from the grave, we'll face that judgment day, knowing that because he rose from the grave. Is this battle going on between your conscience and your heart of what do I do? I believe, but I really don't believe enough to change. If there's any way we can help you, encourage you, won't you respond right now while we stand and while we sing?